been inspired by everything except wedding photography.
The goal isn't to live forever. The goal is to create something that will.
Welcome to Perspective, a podcast for wedding creatives, where we sit down often with a special guest and talk about our many years of experience in the wedding industry so that you can learn from us and grow your wedding business. This is a special episode brought to you by Photography Farm in anticipation of Thrive, happening this March 2022. Thrive is an all-star wedding photography workshop taught this year by 6 phenomenal mentors, and we've teamed up with Farm to bring you 6 episodes for you to get to know them a little bit better. In this penultimate episode of our Photography Farm Perspective collaboration, we'll be introducing you to your 5th Thrive mentor, Sony Europe Ambassador Beatrice of the Quirky. But before we get onto that, and say it with me, kids. Greg, what are we drinking?
So again, because I bought the biggest bag of coffee from Hardlines, we're drinking their house party. I think batch recording these episodes and buying a massive bag was a bad idea because it's getting repetitive now. I've tried to alternate it a wee bit, but
you have.
Drinking that,
but
so
yes.
I'll get pouring.
So pour it, and not over the desk like I tried to get you to do last week, because we're having so many technical issues. It's unreal. However, we are joined today by Beatrice. Hello, Beatrice. How are you this morning?
Hello, guys. Well, I'm really fine. And you?
Yeah, awesome. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, and I think it will be an interesting conversation.
Yes, I think it will be. I have to say, I've really been enjoying getting to know all the Thrive mentors. You've all been super interesting to chat to so far. So Beatrice, I'm looking forward to getting to know you a little bit better as well.
So where are you joining us from today?
Oh, well, today I'm in France. I'm not at home because I'm traveling all week this week. But still, I'm in France. So I think you can hear this in my beautiful French accent.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can hear that I'm French. So, yeah, I'm living, I'm based in France. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome. What makes you travel this fine morning?
Well, this whole week I have multiple projects, shooting, not weddings for this week, but shootings. And at the end of the week, I have a weekend off with some friends.
Oh, nice.
The first weekend off I have for the last, 8 months or so. So I think I'm going to enjoy this weekend very much.
Hell yes, absolutely. I think you'll deserve it. Absolutely. Sorry, I didn't even ask. Do you have a beverage? Are you comfortable? Do you have a coffee in hand or?
I have a glass of water, and I just ate, I don't know if you know this, but this chocolate in a rock shape.
Okay.
I don't even know this one, if you have this one in England, but
I don't know. Can you show it to us again? What is it? So it's a red wrapper. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's one chocolate in the shape of a rock, like a little rock.
Okay.
It's very famous here in France.
The only thing I can think of that's like that is like a Ferrero Rocher. Is that similar?
Exactly. This kind of chocolate.
Yes,
yeah.
right. Okay, cool. Oh, very good. We don't even have any snacks.
No.
So Beatrice, when we've been recording these podcasts, and our listeners will know this, I've been bringing in gifts for Greg. Nearly every episode I've brought in whiskey, I've brought in fizzy juice, 2 lots of fizzy juice. Not one treat for me, Beatrice.
I did mean to bring some cake in last time, but
yeah,
I forgot. And now it's gone.
Nice, but it's not gone in my tummy. So, yeah.
Well, next time think about the chocolate.
Yeah, Greg, think about the chocolate. Think about the chocolate and the children and me. All right.
So you mentioned that you're busy this week and that you've got a weekend off. What else have you been up to so far this year?
Last year I've done like many things. Change or plans have changed a little bit the past years, like thanks to pandemic and all the stuff. So last year was a quite special year for me. I had like the biggest wedding year I've done since the last decade.
Yeah, okay.
So it was like crazy as hell. And at the same time, since 2019 or 18 maybe, with my partner, we started to shoot a little bit more corporate fashion and other stuff. And 2021 was kind of the year we really developed it. So we did like a really crazy season and corporate and fashion and shooting, and it was like crazy.
Yeah. And you survived. Holy shit. Well done.
Well, yeah, we survived, but at what cost? Because, for photos, I'm quite well, but my partner is doing videos, and as you know, it's like longer, like to edit and all the stuff. So he's like still editing some weddings of the last weddings we did on the last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I suppose, obviously, now Jeremy, is that right? Your partner?
Yeah.
Because you are only one half of the Quirky, and Jeremy is the other half. So how long have you been in business together? What's your working relationship like?
Well, I'm a photographer for more than a decade now. I mean, this year I think it's my 14th year, I think. I stopped counting. Because it says about me that I'm old, and I'm not that old. So
you just started young.
But, yeah, exactly. I started young. But I'm working with Jeremy, like, I think we started to work together 7 years ago.
Okay.
So, and in life, we are a couple in life. Like, it's almost 15 years now. But we started to work together only 7 years ago.
Right.
And I was already a photographer, so when he had the occasion, like he was working in a completely different area, and so he wanted to change job, and so I just told him, like, why don't you work with me? And 7 years ago, like in France, video was not quite a big thing.
Yep.
And so I said, yeah, why don't you work with me if you don't like your job anymore? Like, do video so we can like work both together on the same wedding. And he said, oh, okay, why not? And and that's how we begin to work together. So it was just like, oh yeah, why not?
Very cool. So he only does the video aspect of your business, correct?
Yeah, well, sometimes he can second me on photos, and sometimes I can second him on videos. But most of the time, I'm doing photos and he's doing video.
Oh, that's quite cool. So when you get a booking, is it always for the photo and video, or do sometimes you only do video, sometimes you only do photos, and do you work separately?
Yeah, well, we decided something that was one of the reasons he started to work with me, because back in time, I was traveling a lot. And of course, because of weddings, it was on weekends, and he was working on weekdays, and he was off on weekends, so it was quite difficult.
Yeah.
So we decided to have like quite a rule that we want to respect, like the best we can, is that between May and September, we work only together. Okay. And most of the time we're working like photos for me, videos for him. And outside of this time, we can separate our work. But at the end, we still like to work together better, because like we're complementary. We used to work together. It's been 7 years. So, but we can separate our work if there's an occasion or a shooting or something that is interesting for him or for me.
Yep.
There's no problem for us.
Yeah.
And do you find when you do work separately and you're working with possibly another videographer, do you have more of an appreciation for what they're doing and what they need to get?
Yeah, because it's like you have to, when you're working with someone new or with a different way of working that you used to, it's like you have to relearn everything. Like you have to talk more with the people you're working with, like to know like how you're doing this in this kind of situation. How do you want me to? Where do you want me to be? So I'm not in your camera, and I don't have to do that with Jeremy because we know, like we don't have to talk anymore to know each other. So it's easier, but it reminds me. It's cool sometimes because it reminds me how it is to work with someone else, and that I have to pay attention more.
Yep.
With the people I'm working with. So sometimes it's cool to work with someone else.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Do you guys ever have arguments where it's like, no, I've got the harder job. No, my job is harder. I've got audio to deal with. And you're like, yeah, well, you're always in my way. Do you have those kind of arguments?
No, not anymore, because I know for sure that he has the hardest work. I mean, even on the wedding days, he's the kind of guy who's working alone most of the time on the video part, but he still wants to emulate like there's 3 or 4 people in the room. So he has 3 cameras like during the ceremony, like one he has in his hands, 2 that have different angles, and during the ceremony he's running from one to the other to check if everything is okay. Yep. So I know he has the hardest work, and I don't talk about the editing part because I mean, oh my god, I'm just checking his timeline on a Premiere, and I'm like, oh my god, how can you do that? I mean, I don't understand anything of that. So definitely, I don't argue with that.
Yeah, fair enough. But you heard it here first, people. Sony Europe ambassador says that video is harder. Yeah. As the end of the conversation, I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm just kidding.
Definitely, you guys doing the hardest job.
I think we're definitely weirder than photographers, right? Who wants to do the harder job?
Yeah.
I don't know what... Like, sometimes I think, man, I just wish I was a photographer. But I don't see the world the way that you guys do. And who were we speaking to about that? We were speaking to Dylan Kitchener, how he makes films and is a photographer, but he can't do both at the same time. And I can't do both at the same time. In fact, I just find photography is just totally different. So I can't even do it very well at all. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I can do that. I mean, and I think if I had to do that, I would be a little bit like frustrated or kind of, because everything you have in photos, obviously you don't have it in videos. So when you have to edit your film, I think I would have this feeling of like a missing part of the wedding that I have in photos. Mm-hmm. And I can't put them, or I can't add them in the videos, or I have to mix, or maybe it's an idea, I have to mix, maybe some people do that, like photos and videos on the same movie. Yeah. So, yeah, I think I would be a little bit frustrated to have to manage both and not be able to have exactly the same thing on both videos and photos.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, as Simon said, you're a Sony ambassador, so what's in your camera bag? What bodies and lenses are you choosing to shoot with?
So everything is Sony, of course.
Of course.
And yeah, of course. Well, in videos, Jeremy has some lenses that are not Sony, that are more like cinema lenses.
Oh, cool.
So he has some more things. But most of our equipment is Sony. So in my bag, I have like 2 cameras. One Alpha 1, one A9, and I have 3 lenses that I use the most, the 35 millimeters at T-Master, the new one. Oh, yeah. Yep. The 50 millimeters and the 85. And sometimes I have in my bag with me that I don't use so much, it's the 24.
Right.
Yeah. I do find that I'm seeing more photographers going the wider route. They enjoy shooting 35, but I can see a trend of going towards the 24 recently.
There's been a couple of people we spoke to who embrace that wider lens,
Yeah, and it's cool. I mean, I love my 24 to 70. I do wish I could shoot with primes, but I'm not there yet. I have to ask, this is not a part of the kit bag, but who is Licky the cat?
Oh, yeah, Licky the cat. Oh, I'm so sad I'm not at home because I would have shown you. Well, it's a cat, and it's an airless cat. And it's kind of a part of our Quirky family because, it's kind of a weird cat. If you have never seen one, like people that saw this kind of cat for the first time, they love it or they hate it. Because it's like kind of weird seeing a cat without any hair.
Yeah.
And they look a little bit angry or like not really nice cats, but at the opposite, they're really, really cool and like very adorable. But it's kind of the Quirky family. It's a Quirky family member.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I kind of feel sorry for those kind of cats because they're always portrayed as like the villains of like Disney movies or Pixar. You know what I mean? They're always angry and they're always aggressive, and usually they always want to kill you with their sharp claws.
Exactly. This is the cat that when you have a villain, you never see the face, but you only see someone like in front of plenty of buttons, and he's on his knees, and just like you just have a look on the cat, like a really bad cat. It's always represented like a hell or an evil animal, but it's adorable in real life.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Good. So are you just a cat lover, or are you cats and dogs, or are you just all animals are good?
Oh, all animals are good. Actually, I'm a vegetarian.
Okay.
So animals are like really important for me. Mm-hmm. So I like every kind of animals, but I only have one cat.
Only have one cat. Yeah. You're not like a crazy cat lady or something. Not yet, anyway. Oh, you are. You're still a crazy cat.
I'm a crazy, like, my cat lady.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
It's family.
Awesome. I'm assuming you're not going to be bringing Licky the cat to Thrive, though, are you?
Oh, I can't. And I'm not sure she'll enjoy that. So.
No, probably not.
No.
That's a shame. But it's okay. It's okay. That's actually a perfect reminder. That's actually a perfect time to do a reminder to buy your tickets to Thrive. My God, if you've been listening to these podcasts, are you not hell of excited to buy your tickets and come to Brighton, come to Glasgow? I'm very much looking forward to it. I always enjoy Thrive when I go, and I learn so much. And you get to hang out with people. It's just great. It's just a good time. So yes, Lisa says, buy your tickets to Thrive. Remember, don't just thrive in business, Greg. No, don't just survive in business, Greg.
Thrive.
That's right. Terrible. I butchered that segue. God damn. And if you're liking what you can hear, you can support us at Patreon at patreon.com/perspective by Cinemate. For as little as £1, you can support the podcast. And that is where we keep all of our bonus content, Q&As, all that kind of stuff. So come support us if you want. However, Greg, push that button. So obviously we've been talking to you already, and I have given you an introduction. But in your own words, who are you and what do you do?
Well, at first I'm Beatrice. I'm a French wedding photographer for more than 10 years now. I've been specializing in kind of alternative, if we can say that, weddings and destinations weddings.
Yep.
And how can I say that? I don't know. I'm based in France, but half of the year I'm not at home. I'm working like away, everywhere in Europe and in the world, actually.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah.
How are you finding travel just now?
Well, I just started to travel again, like this year.
Yeah.
Because obviously in 2020, I didn't shoot any weddings. Well, actually I shoot 4.
Okay.
And in 2021, it's the first year I only had like 100% weddings in France.
Right.
Okay.
Like the first year in 14 years that I've only weddings in France. And 2022, destinations weddings are back. So I have not half of the season away, but I would say a quarter of the season away.
Okay, yep. Cool.
So not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you find like the adjustment from traveling so much to shooting one season only in France? Did you have to change much in your business to get bookings in France?
Yeah, I had to, because all of the communication, like SEO, Instagram, everything was done to have those weddings away abroad, and so we didn't talk very much about the way that we are living in France. We are living actually in an area that is southwest of France, where you have a lot of weddings, and nobody knows that we are living there. So we had to like reorientate things, and we communicate a lot about the things that we are living there. We did some photo shoots in there. So yeah, we had to change a little bit the things, and it works. And I was surprised because it works very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
And yeah, it's really cool. And we did like I don't know. Last year we did 24, I think, weddings. That's quite a lot. Well, I think it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
And we did maybe 6 in our area. So we were from 0 to 6 in 1 year. So it's quite crazy if you think about it. And as we were not sure about this year, we kept like communicating this way, and finally weddings are back. But this year we don't want to do the same mistakes we did the past year, so we want to recalibrate things and have communication for both destinations and both local weddings.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I'm happy to hear that things did change quickly, because I think my worry would be that I would have to change all my marketing, change everything completely, and it would take time. And by the time it eventually sorted itself out, I'd be back to traveling okay. And then I would need to go back again to like, I'm now redoing destination weddings. Let's go. And then that would take longer coming back. So I'm really happy that that's not the case.
No, actually, we changes the thing like in few weeks.
Yeah,
and it was enough. So
yeah, excellent, good. Well, let's stop talking about now. Tell us about how you got into doing wedding photography. Where did it all start for you?
Well, it started like a long time ago. I was a teenager. And I didn't plan to be a wedding photographer like at all. I wanted to work in the marketing business. And I have an older brother, like 10 years older than me. And he began to start, like he started wedding photography. Like he enjoyed photography, but I can't remember how or when exactly, but he just bought shop. but this kind of old style shop in the city center of medium city, 1 hour from Paris, and it was like 5 minutes away by walk from my school. So I just started to help him at his shop. And I was doing sometimes portraits, but like identity photos.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And I was selling film when he was shooting weddings on Saturdays.
Okay. Yeah.
But just to help him, it was just to help him. And one day he said, "Why don't you follow me on a wedding, like second shooting me?" And I was like, "I don't know anything about like cameras, settings, nothing." And he said to me like, "You see, it's not that difficult." And he just put me a camera in my hands and said, "Okay, when this situation, do that. In that situation, do that." And I was just like, "Okay, let's try." And finally, I really enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed like the mood and the contact with people, with couples. And after maybe a month. So maybe after 4 weddings, he said, "Oh, hey, okay, I have an inquiry for a wedding. I'm not available. Why don't you do it?"
All right.
Okay. I've done 4 weddings in my life, and I was just second shooting. Like I don't even know if he used the photos for the couple. So okay, let's try. And finally, it went very well. So I still like ended my business and marketing studies, but when I started to work, like the real life work job, I was like, oh, I think I don't want to do that. So I talked with Jeremy at this time because we met in that company. I started to work in. Yeah.
Cool.
And I said to him, like after maybe 3 months of relationship, I said to him, I don't want to work here anymore, and I think I want to be a full-time photographer. He said, okay, go for it, and we'll try for a year, and I will support you. And if it works, that's cool. And if it doesn't work, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
And it all started like this. And finally, the first year I started to work with my own name. It was a really nice year. And I never stopped since then.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's brilliant.
And has your style changed at all? Or
oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How so? Tell us.
Oh well, there's different things. 14 years ago, like in general, wedding styles were not like what they are today. I mean, we didn't have like moody, fine art, all those like words we're using to describe ourselves. And I didn't know anything about wedding photography, so I was really copying what my brother was doing.
Yep.
And we are completely different. I mean, he's very calm. I'm someone very like chatterbox and all the stuff. So we are really the opposite. And so his style was like it was him, like on these photos, but it was definitely not me. And so I started to copying him. So it was very classical, like we're doing those cliche photos with a couple on a nice bridge in the park in the middle of the city. So it was very, very classic. And so I had to like educate myself. So I started to look at like American photographers, like English photographers, and I saw that there was something different that I really liked. And so I started to copying those guys.
Yeah, okay.
And
can you remember
and
who?
I can't.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but I don't think I even like followed someone specific. I was just like going on Google Images, or I don't even think Pinterest existed at this time. So, my God, that sounds very old. Like, really.
Yep.
So yeah, I was just like Googling wedding photography and reading some nice blogs, like US blogs. And I was like, okay, this is the kind of photos that I really like more than the classic ones we have in France. And I tried like to do that in France. And that's it. So I came from classic things with almost no editing. Like, it was very real to life colors. I tried fine art because at the time, like in 2012 or so, it was like very common in France to have those fine art colors. So I was fine art, and then I was like, no, it's not me neither. So I changed again, and I think I have like quite the same style for the past, I would say 7 years, 6 years maybe.
Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
how would you describe your style now then?
Well, if we have to use like those wedding photography words, I would say I'm a moody photographer if I have to put myself somewhere. But I don't like that neither, because like what is like moody? I mean, there's even in the moody styles you can have like a lot of different styles.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that I like warm colors. I like black that are very black. I like the golden hour colors. I'm shooting a lot at golden hour. So this is how I would describe my style.
Yeah, when I look at your portfolio, it is very warm, and it's very it's quite intimate actually. Is it because I'm drawn towards the warmer aesthetics as well, and actually, so past couple of years I had gone through, like when COVID hit, I had gone through making our images, our videos a little bit warmer, and the greens were starting to look more brown, and I really enjoyed that. And then I think through the conversations we were having in Perspective, or it might have been even Clubhouse when that was around, I was like, oh no, I should maybe, because Scotland is such a green country, I should really try to perfect my greens instead of just wiping them out and making them orange. Yeah. Do you ever go through that sort of thing in your head?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh,
yeah.
It's not just me then, okay.
A few years ago, when, I don't know for you, but like Moody came in France not that long ago. Maybe I would say it became popular maybe 5 years ago, I would say.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not even sure. Maybe 4 years ago. And like a lot of trends, I started to go for this kind of colors, but I went way too far. so it was like, as I wanted to be very the opposite of the fine art colors, so I went really too far. Like my greens, there were no greens anymore in my pictures.
Oh, so you did the same. You just wiped out your greens just like I did, yeah.
Yeah. They were like brown, orangey, yellowy, but not greens anymore.
Yeah.
And it was the same for blue sky. My blue sky was never blue. They were like grayish, even if it was a sunny day. And the thing is, when you have your head in your season, you don't see that.
Yeah.
But most of the time, you have to let go, like the winter season, because you don't shoot. Well, I don't shoot a lot of weddings during winter, so I don't look at wedding photos during this period. And so when I come back on before the new season to start, when I come back on my last year photos and I look at them, and I'm like, maybe it was a little bit too much. So the year after, I'm like, okay, maybe I can try to work my green a little bit better. And so my iPhone green that was minus 100%, like for real. The year after, they're like, okay, maybe we can go for minus 80%.
Yeah.
And the year after, I'm like, okay, maybe we can go 60.
Yeah.
And now I'm like minus maybe 30 or something like that.
Yeah.
My greens are still not green, but I'm doing better.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I think. I don't know what brought me into coloring our films like that. I mean, I am drawn to the warmth, and I don't know if it was me trying to work our colors so that whenever I did like a screenshot to put on Instagram, that on the feed it would all have a very samey color palette, which if you look at our Instagram now is not the case. Like it's all over the place. Especially when we shoot big weddings, but we also shoot elopements. So the colors are just all over the place, and it used to really bother me. So I think I used to spend a lot of time doing that.
Yeah, forcing different locations to almost feel the same as each other.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, no, each location's different.
Yeah. And I think I still see, not that this is bad, but I see a lot of filmmakers just desaturating the colors, and that is the look. So whatever color is popping at whatever venue, or it's just suppressed. Do you see that a lot? I feel like maybe our work isn't as vibrant, but I do like color. So I don't know. I don't want to desaturate everything. But yeah. That's cool that I'm not the only problem. I'm not the only person who has that issue, but that's awesome.
Yeah. Let's talk about a couple of questions about like business more so. So how many bookings do you aim for each year for whether it's photo or photo and video?
Well, we try to have 15 weddings a year. Well, it's the goal for next year, actually.
Yeah, okay.
Because the past year, we said exactly the same thing, 20 weddings is too much. We have to, lower that number. And every year, it's the same. We're doing 20 weddings. So the goal for next year is to have 15 weddings. And the time that we have free will be very useful to develop all the other projects that are not wedding related.
Okay.
So we're trying to do 15, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Do you have any advice for people trying to do the same thing?
Well, we have to learn to say no. I mean, there's no other way. That's the thing. That's why we aim to do 20 weddings and sometimes much more. Mm-hmm. It's just because we just meet cool people. They have really nice projects. They contact us saying, we absolutely want you to be our photographer or videographer. So we're like, oh my God, we can't say no to people that really want you. We all want that. We want people that just send an email, and in that email, you want to feel that they want you, and they take time to talk about that project, be very specific about it, and you're like, oh my God! And what if this is the best wedding you've ever done in your life? So it's quite difficult to say no. So at the end, we're like, okay, we just take one more and that's it. And finally, the next one is maybe we can pass on this one too. So
yeah.
So
it's definitely
difficult.
hard to say no.
Yeah.
So what exactly do you offer your couples? What's in the package or the a la carte sort of options?
So we have we decided to have one unique package, for photos and videos, I mean. And so we have, of course, the edited photos. At least we promise 100 edited photos. And for the videos, we choose to have 5 to 7 minutes video.
Okay.
So it's not too short, but it's not too long. It's quite in the middle.
Yeah.
And I offer, but it's a surprise for my couples, but I offer a little magazine with a selection of photos, because I really like people to have photos on papers.
Yeah.
And then don't print a lot lately. So I want them to have that. And that's it. All the rest is options. So, of course, we have all the brunch, welcome dinner option, books, long version film, social media film, like 1 minute teaser, and all the stuff. But all those things are options.
Cool. Yeah.
It's quite similar to how we do it. We've got our base package, and then you add on your extras if you want to tailor it to suit you.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't always love everything that you do. So it's quite nice when a couple don't want the full ceremony or whatever it is. You don't need to make it. It's great. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I actually do edit the ceremony and the speeches in a way just to keep them on back file so that I can get Greg to do the upsell in the emails later. But Instagram edits and stuff take longer than you'd maybe want them to. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I want to get on to talking a little bit more about your talk, which is signature portraits, which is awesome. And again, buy your tickets to Thrive. I think it's going to be a really good event. I'm going to be interested to hear your talk, actually. That being said, I don't want to ask too many questions because I do want people to come along and actually hear you give the talk. So, yes, but I always find it interesting when I think about portraits, about the history. Strangely enough, I don't know why I think of the history of it, but it was one of the original, most popular forms of photography. Was portraits.
Yeah.
Obviously to capture people's wealth, to capture their family. And it was also, I think at the time in the 1800s, it was like starting to become popular because people didn't like sitting with their whole family for hours to get everything painted, like a painted portrait.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure if you've shot in like a Scottish or English manor or a castle, you'll see the old family paintings, or they're creepy as fuck, but they're quite cool. So yeah, when photography came along, that was like how they kind of battled that. Even though you still had to like sit for a long time, completely still during portraits, because they didn't have like a fast shutter. Like you click the button and you'd have to be like completely still, and that's where you come across like all the portraits from that time are like people completely. They have no expression. They're completely deadpan because it was really hard to hold their face in a tensed smile. So smiling in photographs was not a thing, which probably is the reason why. Well, paintings did they smile in paintings? I can't even remember. But for photographs, if you look at any old portraits, they're dead serious. That's why they're so scary, man. They are so scary.
Even today.
Even today.
If you're looking at for example, the royal family portraits, like the very classical ones, there are photos today, but like they are all very serious. Yeah. Like standing tall. Yeah. And like the royal status, like. So it's still the case today.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's actually really funny. Whenever I think of like a royal portrait, I still think of artists coming in and painting the Queen. Do you remember that? Was it not like who's that guy who had the didgeridoo? Was it a didgeridoo? Hang on, he had like a sheet. Whoa. He's an Australian guy.
Rolf Harris.
Rolf Harris. Did he not paint like a really abstract picture of the Queen? No, I could be. So, I'm off topic here. Sorry. So what is it about portraits that you like so much?
I mean, I have like different inspirations when it comes to portraits, because if you think about it, if we're looking on the angle of colors, for example, I really like the painting, the colors we had on the painting, like the German, or I don't have the word in English, it wasn't German, but it was like Netherlands, maybe. There was an area in the painting time where the Netherlands painters were very famous, and they had this really specific colors, the warm colors, and the specific way of manage the lights. I'm sorry, I don't have the word in English.
Oh my God. Hang on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's right on the... Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, listeners, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I do... What is that stuff? Yeah, anyway, on you go.
I don't remember. Maybe it will come later.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you think about the color style, I'm really inspired by this painter's area. And if you think on the angles of posing and stuff like that, finally, I'm more inspired by videos.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't really pose people. Well, I pose them, but I would say I guide them more than I'm posing them.
Yeah, okay.
That means I'm using a lot of movements. I really like people like to, I don't know, run, walk, like on my photos, most of the time for the portraits, people are doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not just like sitting or look at the camera and posing.
Uh-huh.
So I'm really inspired by everything that is around videos. It could be music videos. It could be, I don't know, whatever you want, advertising. But I really like to watch things that are in movement.
Okay. Yeah. It's funny because I remember going back to a few workshops that I did. I don't know if you know these guys, Mark Bakura and Eric Rene. I went to their workshops and they were very much the same thing. They love the motion. And they said very similar to you, if they had two locations, they would still shoot away between the locations, and sometimes that's when they would get their best stuff, which is really cool.
It puts the couple at ease if they've got something to do.
Yeah.
And then they can forget that they're being photographed.
Yeah, exactly. Don't give all the secrets.
So sorry.
I'm joking.
So many secrets in this podcast. Go back and listen to the whole back catalogue or subscribe.
But yeah, that you get the point actually.
Yeah, that's really cool. Talk. So obviously your talk is called Signature Portraits. What does the signature refer to?
So we all have, as photographers or even videographers, some pictures that we really like, and like we almost, it can be a situation, it can be a pose, a specific pose, it can be a specific way to like manage the lights, it can be like golden hour, blue hour, whatever. But we all have a specific thing that we like when doing portraits, like portrait sessions. And even if we don't do it on purpose, but we repeat this kind of thing, weddings after weddings.
Yep.
And finally, these pictures that at first it was just something, maybe we did it because it was easy to do, or it was easy to ask for the couple to do. At the end, because we're doing again and again, we're mastering this specific picture. And this picture, the goal is when people, I don't know, on Instagram or whatever, when they see that picture, even before looking at the name, they know it's yours.
Yeah.
And this picture is your signature picture. You can have one, you can have multiple, but and I think it's really important to have this picture on your weddings, like the one that says it's you and it's only you.
Yeah, that's
you know
good.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Totally.
So why should photographers, or why are portraits important to either the photographer? You sort of covered it there for the photographer, but for the couple as well, why is the portrait aspect of a wedding so important?
Well, I think, first of all, I think it's really important to have this specific picture. And this picture, the goal is when people, I don't know, on Instagram or whatever, when they see that picture, even before looking at the name, they know it's yours. And this picture is your signature picture. You can have one, you can have multiple, but I think this is the weddings for me. It's just more than weddings. I mean, of course, this is something that lets people don't forget their history, their family history. This is something that you can give to your children, and one day when you be old, you can give to your grandchildren. And so this is really important for the history aspect. But for me, this is more than weddings. I mean, photos in general, they let us remember a time. So when I'm looking at my pictures I've done 10 years ago, I can say that it was 10 years ago. Yeah. Because how they looked, how the wedding looked like. And I think it's the same for portraits. When you're doing a portrait, this is something that you will keep forever. I mean, the rest of the wedding too, but finally, when people look at wedding pictures, or when you see a couple showing their wedding pictures to another person, there are two things that I will show to people. Couple pictures, ceremony, maybe three, like the couple pictures, maybe some photos of the ceremony, and the family portraits.
Yeah.
These are the three things that people will show to a stranger, someone they just met, and they have a talk, and they're like, "Oh, I just got married last year. Okay, show me some pictures." They will show first. I think they will show portraits of the couple first.
Yeah.
Maybe family pictures and maybe some of the ceremony. The rest, getting ready pictures, they are nice, but they are just nice for the family itself.
Yeah.
And the party, the same for the party. But I think portraits are really more than just portraits. They are what represents the couple as people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So in your talk, does portraits cover the group shots as well? Will you be covering any of that?
No, on this one, on the talk, I will only talk about the couple pictures.
Okay.
But maybe, actually, that's not a bad idea to have some, maybe a few minutes about the portrait family. Mm-hmm. But yeah, mainly it will be about the couple pictures.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so it's time. You're at a wedding. It's time to take some portraits.
Yeah.
You're at a new venue or just somewhere you haven't been before. What do you look for when you decide that's where I'm going to do the portraits?
The first thing I'm looking for is the sun.
The sun.
Because as I said, I really like warm colors. I really like golden hour. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So first thing, the sun. And next, I will see what I can get. What spot is nice, what background is cool to use.
Yeah.
Based on where the sun is.
Okay, cool. So, how do you? I asked this question to another guest when they were talking about good light, and I think a lot of newcomers to the industry don't really know what good light is, or even turning. They will have heard it's sharp light. You want to avoid harsh light, but then other creative photographers they love sharp light. So how do you approach lighting, and what is good light to you when you go to a venue? You're like, yes, there's some good light. What is good light to you?
I'm not a fan of really harsh light.
Okay.
But actually, I can do it very nice. I was surprised. I've done last year very, very nice pictures in harsh light. So I think I'm going to do more.
Cool.
But for me, good light is the golden hour, almost blue hour, the very end, warm, orange sky.
Yeah.
Almost no sun or really, really low. So we just have those beautiful ray of light. Because golden hour can be harsh too to manage. If it's the beginning of the golden hour, you have this very bright, round sun behind you, or in front of you, depending how you're shooting. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really like the best light for me is the really end of the golden hour, almost blue hour.
Yeah. So will you hang on doing a couple session until that time, or do you sometimes just like to do it when the light isn't perfect, just to get stuff in the bag?
Yeah, I think it depends a lot of the schedule, because sometimes, the schedule and the couple, because for example, if I have a couple that is already at dinner when the light is really nice for me, I'll just ask them.
Yeah.
I'll just ask them, like, do you mind if we just go out for, I don't know, even if you can give me like 10 minutes, that's okay.
Yeah.
But 10 minutes with the perfect light, and I will give my best during these 10 minutes. If I don't have any choice, then I'll shoot with the light I have. Mm-hmm. But still, I will do the most of my couple sessions before. But still, I will ask the couple if they can go out for 5 minutes during the nice the nice time and nice light.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
How long would you normally like to have for a portrait session? So you said you can do it in 10 minutes, but how long would you like to have?
Well, at least 20, it's cool.
Yeah.
20 if I'm alone, 30 if I'm with Jeremy, because of course he has to do his shot too.
Always in your shots.
Actually. The numbers of shots I have his hands or elbows or the end of the lens on my shot. I mean, we can't imagine the time I spend on Lightroom, like erase the lens or the ends or top of the head.
I'm sorry, Jeremy. I'm just throwing you under the bus. I've not even met you, and I'm sorry. I do apologize.
Well, but it's the same for me. So yeah.
So going.
Yeah.
Sorry, there might be a little bit of a delay there. So going back to your session, you have that lovely golden hour, which I thought you would like because you like those kind of raw, the warm, rich colors. How do you approach lighting with the sun? Do you like to backlight? Do you like the contrast of like a dark background with a properly exposed person, but the sun shining right on them, or a little bit of a mix? Do you use flash?
Yeah, I really like backlight.
Yeah.
So most of the time, that's why I'm looking where the sun is, and right after I'm looking at the spot or the background. Because I really like to have the sun on backlight, and I really like to have, like in my signature portrait, for example, there's one picture I really like is to having the couple really, really close, or their mouth really, really close, and I really like to put the sun like just between their lips, like this kind of pose where they're about to kiss but not yet, and so I like to have those little ray of light between their lips.
Yep.
So if I have the sun on the right direction, but the spot behind is really awful, I'm like, oh shit, how can I do that? But finally, it ends up by doing a really, really close portrait, like really close, so close that you can even see their eyes. Most of the time I'm framing like from nose or the end of the nose to maybe like, the top of the chest, and that's it. And this one is one of my signature portraits.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm looking for the light first, and then I see what kind of framing I can do with that.
Yeah.
Depending the background.
Yeah. Is that do you do that because maybe you haven't thought about this, but we were having this conversation with another photographer. Was it Dylan? Anyway, we were talking about watching TV shows and watching how the lighting dictated the narrative. So when you have a scene of two characters and there's a backlight behind them and there's maybe a little hint of a relationship, I can turn to my wife and go, they're about to have a moment here. You might want to pay attention. Yeah. And they do it, like you said, the light, and it's always in, backlighting. The couple make out, or there's that moment, but it's always backlit. So does cinematography play a role as an influence for those moments?
Yeah, Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, I'm sure because we have like associated some kind of light or to a mood, if I can say that.
Yeah.
So if you are in a very bright, sunny, arch-like moment, it's difficult to if you think about a movie scene, you won't see a romantic scene in the arch light or you maybe think of a rainy day because you have a lot of movie scenes where the romantic scenes are on rainy days, like they didn't have seen them for like a few weeks and they're back together and then it started to rain and it's so romantic. And so these days not sunny, but it's like gray. So gray days are associated with romantic sceneries, and it's the same for golden hour or blue hour.
Yeah.
They're really associated with a certain mood, and same for archlight. This is another mood, maybe more joyful. I don't know. It's really perfect, like for a ceremony exit. We like ceremony exit with archlight because it's this joyful time.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely cinematography has a thing on the side.
Yeah. Awesome.
Do you think a lot of photographers underestimate the power of the portrait session?
I don't know if a lot of them do that, but I think a lot of them are doing them because it's like that, you know. Because in weddings you have to shot the getting ready, then the ceremony, then the couple pictures, then the party, and this is part of wedding photos. So a lot of them doing them just because they have to.
Yeah.
But maybe some of them don't think about the power of them or the power they can have, like for you as a photographer, but also for them as a memory or a souvenir.
Yeah. Do you? So, I suppose this question relates more to like group shots, I suppose, rather than portraits. So, I don't know if it makes sense, but do you? And I'm asking because certain photographers have said that there's a monetary. There's a cash value to doing more portraits, and maybe this is part of like a couple session rather than during a wedding, but you'd want to take more portraits so that a couple spend more money on the back end wanting more prints. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can understand that, and that's quite true actually. Because if you think about it, I don't know any photographers that really like doing those family portraits, like doing one after the other.
Yes.
I mean, it's boring. There's nothing creative in that. It's just people like standing next to each other and looking at the camera. It just takes like 5 seconds to do it, and then next. So I don't know any photographers who really like that. But for me, even if we think not about the cash, but the value, like the sentimental value of this portrait, people want them. Like parents want them, uncles want them, cousins want them, because this is one occasion to have all your family on the same pictures, and everyone's looking good. Everyone's looking at the camera, probably smiling. So these are the portraits that are really, like, in terms of money, but also in terms of sentimental value, for me, they are the ones that the most underestimated.
Yeah.
We don't like to do them, but at the end, these are the ones people will keep forever.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's the ones. It's what have I called them in the past? The mantelpiece images. It's the ones that your grand's going to print off and put on her walls or on her mantelpiece. Yeah. So they are important. It's not really the flip side, but and again, I can never remember the sources of information that I hear, because I hear so much. I'm just like, who said that again? I can't remember. But a photographer was talking about the pressure of more getting more content from a couple sessions, excuse me.
Yeah.
And they were talking about the anxiety about not feeling that they've had enough.
Mm.
And now I'm saying this, it was either Ferro Haristi or it was Sam Hurd on another source. Someone tell me, someone correct me. But they were saying that you only really need a handful of good portraits. You don't need to be feeling like you need to take the couple out for an hour and just getting as much as you can just because you feel like you haven't got this shot here or you haven't got this pose or something like that. So do you have any comment on that sort of thought process that actually you probably do have enough content?
Yeah, I think we have like to let down this pressure because we don't need 100 pictures, couple pictures. Like most of the time, even if you keep that, you can give 100 couple pictures to your couple, or you can give only 20. At the end, I just noticed that people they really like maybe 2 or 3 on the entire session.
Yeah.
So for me, the goal is even if you have like only 10 minutes, or even if you can only have like 10 pictures, make the most of the 10 pictures for the couple to like only 1. That's the goal at the end.
Yeah.
They don't need 10 pictures to put on the wall on their living room. They just need 1 that can maybe use for thank you cards, or they can use for the social media profile pictures.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if some photographers, if they're following their couples on social media like Instagram, most of the time you notice that they use only 2 or 3 pictures, and that's it. All the rest is really cool, but it's not that they don't like it. It's just that they have their favorite, and it's always 1 or 2 pictures, and that's it.
Yeah.
So for me, during a couple session, that's really important to have. We all want these creative, really amazing, wow effect pictures, but I keep this one for the end of the session. And I make sure that if I have only 10 minutes with the couple, well, I don't give a fuck about the creative pictures and all the wow effects. I will like focus on having nice portrait that I'm sure the couple will like. And most of the time there are 3 of them. 1 with the couple, nice face, maybe they don't have to look at the camera, but when we can see both of their face, even if they're looking away. There is 1 bride portrait of her alone and 1 of the groom. If you have those 3, well, job is done for the couple, actually. For sure. And it would be that's interesting to do, like doing a wedding and just like having these 3 pictures and see how the couple will react to that. And I'm pretty sure if they're all done well, I'm sure they will be happy with those 3 pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I remember recently my partner and I booked a virtual maternity session with our friend Nikki Ledbetter, and the package was, I can't remember, like half an hour shoot, and you got 3 digital images. And I was like, initially it was like, oh wow, only 3? Like we're shooting for half an hour here and only getting 3 images. But when you stop and thought about it, it's like, yeah, like what am I really going to do with more than that? You're not going to print and frame 20 maternity photos. So yeah, it just made sense eventually. It was like, yeah, you just need 3 really good shots. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, we all want more because we are like, we feel stressed about it. Like we feel that we don't have this shot, like the amazing shot. But if we think about it, for who is that shot? Is it really for the couple or is it for ourselves?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure is it for ourselves because we want to post that on Instagram, create the wow effect, like we want people to compliment us about it, and at the end, we need few of them, like not on every wedding, but we need few of them because those photos makes us remarkable. Maybe some couples will book us thanks to those photos, but when it comes to their own wedding, they don't need that actually.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So one question that we always like to ask every guest is, do you have any book recommendations for us? Whether that be photography book or business?
What advice can I give you? Oh, I don't know. I absolutely have no idea.
Or you could change it up to like TV show.
Yeah.
For like cinematography and composition or podcasts.
Well, photography related. I'm reading a lot like fashion photography books.
Yep.
Okay. And one of my favorites, for example, is I just forgot his name. Wait a second. He died last year, actually. A really famous fashion photographer. He shoot a lot in black and white.
To be fair, you're traveling, so you don't have your library of books behind you. A lot of the podcast guests we've been speaking to are like, and they're looking behind them. They're having a look through their whole library, and yeah. I mean, Neil Thomas Douglas just pretty much just picked up a whole pile of books and was just showing them one after another. It was like this one and this one. I was like, yeah.
Oh, he has done like most of the Vogue magazine covers, like for maybe 2 decades.
Let's have a.
He's shooting mainly black and white.
Peter Lindbergh.
Peter Lindbergh. Oh my God!
Yes.
Wow, I can't believe I forgot his name.
Literally just Googled it on my phone, and I was lucky that was the first name that came up. So awesome. I'm actually not familiar with his work.
I think Neil did recommend his book. There's one of his that Neil recommended as well.
Oh, really?
I really like his work, and for his time, because like I think he died. It was last year, so he was famous in the 90s and 20s area. And the thing is, for his time, he was very different because, of course, he was shooting black and white, but a lot of photographers in the 90s were shooting black and white. Yeah. But the difference between him and the others, he loved motion in these pictures. Mm-hmm. And it was quite new and quite different for fashion photography. If you look at his pictures, of course, there are a lot of portraits in studio and stuff, but he has also a lot of photography taken with natural light, with just simple studio backgrounds and reflectors and stuff like that, and a lot of movements and motions in these pictures, like models walking in the streets or in the beach.
Yeah.
And it was quite different and quite new in fashion photography in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love this. Right enough, there are some images that I have seen before in his portfolio. Just checking out the real Peter Lindbergh on Instagram. Yeah. There, you can check out his work. I'm just gonna hit follow there, Greg. Awesome. For newcomers to the industry, do you have any advice that would help them in their journey to creating a killer portrait?
Yeah, I would say be inspired by everything except wedding photography.
Yeah.
Yep. We say that a lot on this podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, it's the same. Like it was the same for me. Like a decade ago, I was saying I was copying my brother's style because I had no other reference.
Yep. Yeah.
But when I started to open myself to other things like fashion, advertising, whatever, music, it was way easier for me to develop my style, to know me better, to create those signature portraits I was talking about. So just be inspired by everything you want except wedding photography. It can be, it will make your work like richer. Mm-hmm. A lot of things that I've seen in movies, for example, and I was like, oh, that's a real nice, I was thinking it's a real nice way to, I don't know, use the light or frame or whatever. I tested them in weddings and I was like, oh, so I can emulate those things in weddings, actually.
Yeah.
But it's not weddings related. It was a movie. It was a music video. It was something else.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So good.
That's why I also like, as you say, Peter Lindbergh, like looking at photography books that, well, I don't know if there's many photography books that are wedding related, but just general street photography or wedding photography, fashion photography. And it's like, try and incorporate that idea.
Yeah.
Even for the poses, I mean, fashion is fashion. So sometimes the poses are like, way too much for a bride it's too difficult. But there are some mood or expressions or, as I said, Peter Lindbergh has a lot of people walking in these pictures, and we don't think enough of, we always talk about being like natural on the pictures, because I mean, it's easy for the couple to accept that if we're saying that the couple pictures will be natural. At the end, we all guide them and we all make them pose. So natural, kind of. But yeah, so I think looking at those pictures and we're like, okay, maybe we can have nice portraits with just having a bride or a groom or a couple just walking and using a different lens than the rest of the wedding, and having a different perspective or a different angle, not be face to them, but a little bit on the side, and having them not looking at us. And just, you can have these ideas just by looking at like fashion books or other photography.
Awesome. Yeah. You know what? Everyone's been giving us some really good recommendations recently. We should take some Cinemate money, Greg, and purchase some of these books.
Or just get the ones that are on the shelf back out.
Or get them. Well, yes, that's very true. But there's some cracking ones that have been recommended.
Yeah.
That I mean, obviously we do appreciate these books are very expensive. However, you're investing in your art, your craft by learning all these things. So please do take note of these books and these artists and photographers, filmmakers, and go out and watch their work, look at their stuff, study. So that's what I'm going to try and convince Greg to do. Greg, can we upgrade our library, please? Makes a change from, Greg, can I get a new camera? Anyway,
it adds too. Having a great camera and all the equipment, it's cool too. So.
Yes, indeed. Well, okay, Greg, can I get a new camera too?
No.
Get a book.
Nice try.
One day he'll turn around and he'll give me permission to buy a new camera. Anyway, for people who are looking for you online, where should they go?
Oh, well, Instagram, I think, is the first thing you can find me, and it's the most updated spot where I am. So first Instagram and the website. I don't use Facebook almost anymore, so sorry for Facebook users. And yeah, that's it, I think.
Mm-hmm. And what's your website address? What's your Instagram account?
So the website address is how do you say the line in English? Like
hyphen?
Hyphen?
Dash. Just
dash.
Yeah. So the Quirky.com, and the Instagram is Beatrice the Quirky. Beatrice _ the Quirky.
Very cool. And people can find us at cinematefilms.co.uk on Instagram and Facebook. We're /CinemateFilms. 21st, 22nd, Brighton, 24th, 25th, Glasgow. This is the month of March 2022. 6 incredible speakers, shoot sessions so that you can see your heroes in action. Lunch and snacks provided. It's obviously held at 2 very cool boutique hotels in Glasgow and Brighton. You get a killer goodie bag and also the chance to hang out with your industry peers for 2 whole days. We can't recommend Thrive enough. We love it. And we're filmmakers. And it's for photographers. Or is it? No. Explore your influences. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, you can join us on Patreon at patreon.com/perspective by Cinemate. For as little as £1, you can support the podcast. And for the price of a coffee every month, you can get access to all the Q&As and bonus content that won't be available anywhere else. Except for if you are listening to this podcast, there is no hidden content for you for Photography Farm, for this collaboration. We have given you our whole conversation, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, hit that subscribe button, and you can get your normal podcast for free. If you liked it, leave a review. If you didn't, please don't. However,
in the meantime,
don't just survive, thrive.